Bluetooth device, none of which was taken, and we don't believe robbery was a motive. Patrol officers that arrived to the call, they searched the area, checked apartment complexes, convenience stores, everything around that area, looking for anything suspicious people or activity, but returned with nothing that appeared to be related to the case. Very early in the investigation, investigators received a tip that we believe to be valid. The tip wasn't thorough enough, and we've carried it through as far as we can, but to no avail. We've examined other shootings and other weapons-related offenses in the area and throughout the city, as well as looked at known offenders in the area, but nothing has led us to the full identity yet of the shooter. We've submitted forensic evidence in the case. We're making repeated attempts at that same original lead at the outset of the investigation. We're also working additional leads that have come in on this case, but the case is 2 years old, and we don't have the full identity yet. We're trying to reach out to a person or people out there who may have information about this case. We need what they know to fully identify this person and make an arrest in this case. For the person who may have information, they may find relief in the fact that some time has passed, and perhaps they'll feel more comfortable in coming forward now, and feeling that although it's the right thing to do, there's also a huge incentive for them through the Oak Farms Reward Program of a $10,000 reward for any information that leads to the arrest and indictment of the shooter in this case. More than that, though, it will give the family the resolution that they need so that they don't have so many questions about why George died. And so that when they call me on a regular basis throughout these 2 years, several family members call and they want the answer that I've never been able to give them. I'd like to be able to tell them that the case is finally solved because the person out there who has the information has done the right thing finally. That's all I have. You're okay.
My name's Corey Session. I'm with the Innocence Project. You might know we get a lot of people out of jail, but in that same amount of time, we also get a lot of people that we put in jail who are arrested for the crimes we commit. This case is partial to me because Patrice is a friend of mine, and her aunt is a friend of mine for many, many years. George was a long-time civil servant, postal employee, dedicated 30 years of his life, walked around without any incident over many years. I think it's time for us to do something that George did as a postal worker. It's time for the public to deliver. It's time to deliver the suspect. It's time to deliver the person that is responsible for causing such hurt, such harm, such detriment to this family, and bring him to justice. Most people who commit a crime, in turn, who do not get caught, will go on to commit other crimes. So there's no telling what other crimes this person may have committed. This may not have been a stranger crime. It may have been someone that he knew or felt comfortable with at that moment, but they end up taking this man's life. So it's time that we do something that this postal worker did for years, and that's deliver. We need to deliver a suspect and get them properly processed through the legal system, and they can face justice. Whatever that justice might be, it's totally up to the family what they would like to see done, but it's time for the public to step up and step forward and get this person caught.
Your name again, please.
It's Corey Session, Corysession.
My name is George Hawkins. I'm George Warren Hawkins II. That is my name also. George, middle name Warren, last name Hawkins, and then 2 I's at the end for the second. I guess we decided to come out here today because we're just kind of ready to have this over. It's been pretty rough 2 years for all of us. I guess it's getting a little better, but I don't know. We just kind holidays, he gets to see his family still, and we don't. So hopefully, if anyone out there knows anything at all, please come and step up so we can kind of at least have a little bit of closure and try to be a little bit normal from here on out. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Patrice Hawkins, V-A-T-R-I-C-E, H-A-W-K-I-N-S. I am the widow of George Hawkins. I miss him so much. I want to thank Oak Farm for reopening the award, praying that someone will come forward to help Detective Wade solve this. Just like my son said, we need closure in the family. We need justice. We need this person arrested and so that he can be dealt with. It's not an easy day for us. These last 2 years, we stay in beds. We don't want to be around people. We want him back. We want our Sundays back and our holidays back, but we're never going to get that back. But we can find who done this to George so that we can have some rest and we can move on. And we need justice. I want to take the time to tell people, please, all this violence has to stop. This has to stop. We need to learn how to forgive, forget, and keep it moving. This killing people and going into churches and theaters, all this needs to stop. Let's just stop and get along with everybody. It's just, it's not easy. It's not. And you take people's family from them and they have to live with that. You don't have to live with it. So please, let's stop this violent stuff and be happy with one another.
We'll open it up to a few questions if you guys have anyone in particular you needed to ask any questions of.
Detective, can you please come up? Obviously, you all have, I mean, you've obviously exhausted a lot of your means of maybe finding out. Anything else that maybe, I mean, the time of day, the weather, how the type of weapon was used?
Certain information we're limited on revealing. Anyone who does come forward, we're hoping for them to have the detail that we're looking for. If we say too much, it won't necessarily be knowledge unique to people who are on the inside and actually know about it. So I can't tell you too much.
Can you tell us what time of day this happened?
It was at about 8 a.m. in the morning. It was on a weekday at about 8 a.m.
And any neighbors, I know you said people heard the gunshot.
Right,
but
neighbors.
Was anybody outside that you all have talked to or maybe afraid to come out?
There may be. There could be people who may have seen something either before, during, or after. Maybe they don't even know that it was related, but perhaps they've been afraid. I know some people in the apartment complex were afraid when it happened. So there's a good chance of that. But, 2 years have gone by, and hopefully they feel safer now being able to come forward. And they can do that anonymously if they don't choose to call me directly. The reward program works just as perfectly through Crime Stoppers as it does through us.
The number again for Crime Stoppers?
Oh, that's an excellent question.
469-TIPS.
817-469-TIPS.
If people may feel safer at this point, but I know it's a common concern that after time goes by, people's memories get hazy. If they saw something just sort of at random they don't know, is that a concern also?
Yes, but we'd rather have that information, even if it's incomplete or hazy, than none at all. That person may not even be aware that what they saw is important. It may seem like a minor detail to them. But no one will understand that except people close to the investigation. So it's definitely in our best interest, in the families, And in theirs regarding the money, just to come forward with whatever they may have seen or know, even if we've spoken to them already. Perhaps this is someone we've been in touch with, and we didn't get the full story from them, or someone who's never contacted us.
Would you be able to characterize whether the victim might have known the shooter, or whether it was just random, or anything of that nature?
It doesn't appear to be, it doesn't appear that there was a close relationship between the two.
Do people at the apartment complex seem less worried now, just in general, than they might have been 2 years ago?
I think that's pretty common with the passage of time. People, like you mentioned, they tend to forget certain things, and their attention's drawn to new events that are happening, good or bad, in their lives or in the area. So yes, in general, I think that's true.
Has there been an ongoing issue with crime there?
No, the crime there is not unique to several other parts of the city.
What type of calls do you normally get in that apartment complex?
It runs the gamut. It's been a long time since I've worked that part of town, so I don't know that I can answer your question as well as a patrol officer could.
The reason I'm asking is because, I mean, you could have like, juvenile delinquency to drug dealers.
There were other shootings in the area, which I mentioned earlier, in that same part of town, in that same beat. And we compared those shootings and those offenders, those weapons in that area, in other parts of the city too, but in that area, concentrated in that area. So yes, other things like that happen in the area.